Welcome, everybody. It is Sunday night, and this is In the Batter's Box. It is the NGSC Sports Weekly Baseball Show. I am your host, Ralph Garcia. At least I'm still your host. I haven't been fired yet. Uh, I would have to fire myself. Okay, I'm hired. Let's bring the guys in, of course, from Jersey. He is the host of the Enhanced Sports Show, Saturday, 4 to 6 p.m. Any holidays, anything special this week? Check your calendar. You probably want to call in Wednesday, but you can start on Tuesday. So you can get in line. He's also, of course, co-host of In the Batter's Box, Mr. Louis Tenor. Louis,
Ralph.
how's it going, Louis?
All right.
Louis, I hate the Yankees, Louis. Did I tell you that? Have I told you that recently?
Yeah, I think you mentioned it once or twice.
All right, I wasn't sure. I just wanted to make sure. From the
I
windy
know.
city of Chicago, el padre, no longer the new father, but definitely,
No,
definitely
please.
enjoying the headaches. I mean the
Yes.
wonderful things of fatherhood.
Oh, I said,
Matters box, Mr. Alejandro Vargas, ¿qué pasa, pai?
how you fellas doing?
You know,
Yeah, fatherhood is a lot of work, man.
man,
Sure.
It is a lot of work.
it is a lot of work.
I can
I have to take naps in between, hours of the day, and it's stressful, but I
My,
enjoy it.
my friend just asked me, my daughter's looking for a place to live. She lives like 45 minutes away, about like you, John, from Lowell to Boston.
Ah,
And my friend says to me, well, maybe she might find a place up here, Clarksville, cheaper than Nashville. I told him, if you do not watch your mouth. He said, what are you talking about? I said, why do you think I live 45 minutes away from my kids? I don't want my kids anywhere near me. I got 4 kids and 8 grandchildren. I can't take all that stuff. I need space. I need space. Uh Now we talk to my boys up in, depending on where you're looking,
there
on
you go.
on the eastern seaboard of the United States of America. Yes, wonderful flag. Let's go to that young man right there who did a play-by-play call today, baseball call today. The ump, Luca Tedesco. What do you say, Luca?
Hello, finals suck, and I am very tired and very worn out. But somehow, I only have 1 week left in my junior year of college, and that's very, very scary.
I, I
Enjoy the
remember,
ride, man.
I remember finals week, Luca, February 1982. Actually, Luca, I lied. I don't remember it. I just know that it happened, but I don't remember. Uh, that was only a few years ago. And of course, my partner in crime, the left hand, the right hand. Then you choose which one. Depends on which one you like best. Co-host of In the Batter's Box, Mr. John Doucette. John, year 9, another show.
Yeah, as always, Ralph. Good to be with you.
We got some people that are with us, watching the show with us. Please remember, you got any comments, any questions? You got to rag a team. By the way, if you have to rag it, make sure you rag the Yankees to get in my good graces, and we're all good, okay? That's the way it works on this show. Louis doesn't mind. He's used to it.
Of course he doesn't.
Plus, when the Yankees are in first place, Louis doesn't care that much. But I do see the emotion in him when I start ragging him about the Yankees, and the Yankees are sitting in third place, or they're on one of those losers of 10 or 14. That's when Louis looking at you, and you could tell he really wants to tell you, listen, you little bit of God. But he won't. But he won't do it. All right. So we got to check out Major League Baseball this past week.
Yes.
About the stories and all that's going on. First thing that I'm going to talk about, as we look, it's early in the season, guys. A lot can change. We're talking about the Oakland A's definitely playing better, a whole lot better baseball than we expected them to play. but it's early. People are asking what's going on with Houston. I was reading a thread today. These guys, Houston Astro fans, they were going back and forth like it was 158 games into the season, and the Astros, what, 15 games out. I finally just keyed in. Calm down, guys. It's April.
Yeah.
It's just getting started. But I want to touch these standings real quick. Louis, every day I check the standings, the Yankees maintain first place. That's basically getting on my nerves at this point. But why? What is it that's working so well?
Well, last year we dealt with a lot of injuries. Now we're getting our solid players back, and trying to make a run in the division here. Of course, we got to contend out Baltimore, which is the team that used to suck. Now they're the team that doesn't suck. But we're getting our players healthy, and they could make a case for the AL East. Let's see. I think it's going to be a two-way battle between Baltimore and the Yankees. Sorry to disappoint you, but that's the way I see it.
There's a saying, no, Sherlock. You think the Yankees are going to be?
Yeah,
The Yankees. Surprisingly, their rotation is holding up.
Yes.
I know,
And that's something that's really, it's a positive thing for them, and just hold in there until you get called back.
Now just hope the Judge to get injured again, like he did last year. That's really screwed us over.
Who was
Aaron Judge, because when he went down, the whole team went down last year. Well, that was the beginning of it. So if Judge and the core can stay healthy together, the Yankees should make a pretty good run.
Yeah, I think so.
I'm not worried about it. They'll go on an injury spree. They're the Yankees. They're not going to let me down, Louis.
Or somehow Boone will find a way to screw it up.
Yeah, Alejandro. That was playing in my head because every time they keep winning, and I keep saying Alejandro. So when is he going to screw this up? Because I'm waiting.
Give him a few months. It's early. Calm down.
Didn't I just say that? John, the New York Yankees, the American League East, looking at it here. Baltimore game back. Red Sox managing to stay above 500. How are things going up in Beantown?
Well, you're dodging injuries is what we're doing up here. But nevertheless, this team is based on that starting pitching that has been really has been really what has allowed this team to keep itself together. They've got some decisions to make with some roster moves, and they started doing it yesterday as they acquired Garrett Cooper from the Cubs to play first base for them. Now that they've taken Tristan Casas and put him on the 60-day injured list, which basically is going to end his season. This team is finding a way to stay afloat. You just wonder how much longer they can do it based on all the roster moves that they've had to make. They still haven't figured out shortstop, second base yet. And those unearned runs that they keep giving up from time to time have really come back to haunt them. But the fact that they're above 500, I think, is rather amazing based on the roster that's out there.
Yeah, I found that surprising. Luca, what you got? MLB baseball this past week.
The White Sox somehow just swept the Tampa Bay Rays. They have doubled. They have doubled their winning total in 3 games. So, now this team is probably gonna be historically bad. Is kind of where we were trending the last couple weeks, especially after all this. But there's kind of the question: do you think that it stays this bad all year? Where obviously this weekend is a pretty big one if you're a White Sox fan, but do you think it stays approximately this bad where all season long, where they might be even under 30% winning percentage?
Oh, I think they lose 100 games.
Yeah.
I don't know what to make of the White Sox, and I'm across the street from them. They're young, but they have some pieces there that I will assume they're going to move some of those guys around the trade deadline. I think they going full rebuild. They have new front office. They have good talent in the minors, and move things around. Uh, I think. I mean, they not. This is not their year for sure. They also trying to move to a new ballpark. They trying to build a new ballpark in the South Loop. I don't know how that's going to work because you also have a Soldier Field there and everything else. McCormick, and it's going to be chaos if they move to the place that they trying to move Cellular Field or Comiskey. Uh, I think they gonna move a lot of pieces for sure.
Well, I mean, when you play in that bad of baseball,
Mhm.
uh, and I like the way you put it, and I love the emotion. By the way, Luca, in just in 3 games, but it was big for the Chicago White Sox, sitting at 6-22, and things are so bad in there. So we don't have to wonder if the White Sox are going to be buyers or sellers. John, the coach is driving. I told him we will maybe
Okay.
try it. We'll try it maybe during the week. Maybe during the week, one evening this week, we'll be able to grab him and
Okay.
record an interview with him.
Okay.
Uh, Yeah, okay. So we're talking baseball right here. Me, of course, I'm always going to talk about my Mets. First and foremost, you're in a division with the Atlanta Braves. By the way, in case people didn't notice, the Atlanta Braves are starting to play Atlanta Braves baseball.
Yeah.
They and the Phillies have won 8 out of the last 10. Phillies also playing good baseball, a game and a half out. They're in the American League East. While my Mets linger at 14-13. Not a bad series with the Cardinals there, huh, By?
Oh yeah, that was
Not a
Yeah.
bad West Coast trip either, by the way, for them that they just came back from.
Yeah. Now that was a good trip. That was
Yeah.
a good trip. That was a good trip. I see the Seattle Mariners making waves out there, John.
Well, again, it's a division right now that's there for them to take, and with the Astros struggling, and with Texas not necessarily doing what they did most of last year, and certainly in the postseason, it's a division that the Mariners can certainly go and grab, and the Angels are even hanging around too, which is a bit of an interesting surprise. But,
Yeah.
what
the Mariners have been able to some extent grab hold of that division is something worth noting.
one thing I want to touch also is we trash the American League Central. Everybody's in the American League Central is over 500,
I know,
except for the White Sox.
except for the White Sox, right? They're all right there.
Cleveland is having an amazing start. So is Kansas. Detroit and Minnesota. They playing really well. Really,
Dog shows.
Detroit's pitching is outstanding. So it's not going to surprise me. What surprised me for sure is Kansas and having that start that they having is just unbelievable. And we
Well,
trashed that division, by the
you
way.
have to give the Guardians credit. I mean, when they lost Shane Bieber, I thought the wheels were going to fall off that team, but instead of falling off, they've screwed
Listen,
up even tighter, and this has
this
become a much better game without him.
this offense in Cleveland is working, and they're scoring runs. They got, I think, the second or third best run differential in baseball,
Mm.
and it's been a big surprise to see. It's too bad we haven't had Matthew on here.
And
Talk about
Right.
the love
And
Cardinals.
weirdly, they big bad is Jose Ramirez, and he's been kind of under the radar because he's a guy that explodes like in June when it gets warmer, and that's crazy. Just Naylor, my God, he's out of this planet. Uh, and the rest of Jimenez, the rest of the offense is just working, and they playing fundamentals, and they when you play fundamentals offensively, that's a good thing, man, and that's beautiful to watch.
Yeah, it'd be
I,
interesting to see if that team can maintain what they're doing throughout the summer. But I do think that that's a division that, again, can be taken by anybody except the White Sox, unfortunately. And so, there's only one team from that division make the playoffs. Is it going to be just the winner, or can Can a second team come from that division as a wild card? That's going to depend on how this division can keep playing well throughout the summer.
Well, if the season ends today, Kansas is in, Baltimore's in. And let me see who else. Shit, Detroit is in.
Detroit is in, yes.
The wild card.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And think about it, the Tigers had all of that money to spend in the offseason. They had about $50 million that they could spend in the offseason based on Cabrera's contract and then based on the opt-out of Eduardo Rodriguez. And yet they really didn't spend that money. They kind of kept it to themselves. For the moment, it has worked in their favor. And when the trade deadline comes, they're going to be in a pretty good position to do things.
Yeah, I mean they have tons of talent in the minor.
Yes. And they've got the cash to go along with it.
One thing also that they were praying to that didn't happen was Javi Baez opting out. It didn't happen. He stayed with the team. But they look good, man.
Javi Baez will play if he's playing with a team that he thinks can win. He will play.
And by the way, earlier I was talking about the Astros and these guys making a big fuss about the Astros. Another thing I told them, try to remember, you got half a dozen pitchers who have gone down already. I mean, early in the season for Houston. And they just swept that I think they swept the Mexico City series.
Yeah, they did.
They're playing against Colorado.
Right.
I mean, that's not exactly like.
I didn't say it with a lot of emotion, Luca. I didn't say it with a lot of emotion.
No, you're right.
It is Colorado. Justin Verlander's back. Pitchers are now going to start coming back, getting healthy for Houston. Now's the time to watch and see what Houston's going to be able to do. Hey, Louis, anything in your mind? Anything going on in baseball you need to talk about? Besides the damn Yankees.
Besides the team. Well, I'm the big Yankee fan right there. So, I'm pleased so far. I mean, it's a long season. They got a long way to go. But if things hold up, it should be the two-way race between the Orioles and the Yankees.
Louis, did
The
you
Mets,
know that? Yeah, I know.
Another team that surprised me for how bad they started, like they not hitting at all. Toronto Blue Jays. The Blue Jays are a team that you expect them to be like killing everybody.
Yeah,
Vladdy is
They're going to finish that division. I think they're finishing that division in last place.
I don't know what to tell you because right now Bichette is hitting below his standards. So is Vladdy. So is Springer. A lot of guys there. I mean, their pitching is super good. Barrios is having an outstanding season. Gosman pitched a great game today. But yeah, they're not hitting at all, and that's concerning, man.
Yeah.
Hey, speaking of not hitting, Louis, Aaron Judge, 178, 4 home runs.
He's doing better. He's hitting up.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, he's hitting up.
Coming from last season, I mean, okay, it's a little bit of a slow start, but that's to be expected. Give him a couple of weeks; he'll be back in high form. I mean, 4 home runs,
he's hitting up.
not bad.
Wait a minute, Alejandro. I got to get back to what Alejandro said. John, I'm trying to make sense of this. He's hitting 178. Tell me where he's doing better. How do you do better at hitting 178? He's got 4 home runs. He got an OPS of what, 670 or something? I don't know. I'm missing something. Where is he getting better at? Luca, did I miss something?
No, I don't think so. At the moment, no.
No. Alejandro, he sucks right now. He ain't doing a damn thing right now. It's like, what the?
Neither the Astros.
I was,
He's
And
hitting
the
better.
other guy, wait, Alejandro, on your team, Goldschmidt's another one.
Oh,
Yeah, but Goldsmith, this is a guy that is a typical, like, he starts low. I think he was hitting about the same or worse the year that he won the MVP in the first 20-something games. So I wouldn't worry about that guy. I mean, that guy he's going to find his stroke eventually. Guys like that don't really scare me.
And you guys are talking about the Blue Jays. Yeah.
But the Blue Jays do, because I don't think that any of them are slow starters. All of the opposite.
No,
They
and
start
both Brad and Bo Bichette are having slow starts.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. He's killing me in fantasy, by the way, Bobby Shed. I wanted to dump his ass, but
That's a pity.
Now we talk about Luca. We also talk about Alejandro's fantasy every week now.
oh,
Yeah, I mean, I don't really play fantasy baseball.
oh, you don't know what you're missing, man.
Oh,
This is-
I know that as a stats guy, I know I'm missing it, but
Nah.
I just don't have the commitment or the
It's a lot of work.
Oh yeah, it's every
it's a
day.
lot. Fantasy football, sure. Fantasy baseball, that's a commitment.
Luca, you ready, Luca? Let me make the pose. I retired from fantasy football. 13 seasons, 11 championships. I decided to
Wow.
Actually, my brother kicked me out of the league.
You play in a fighting league.
No. Oh, I quit like 5 years ago. But actually about 6 years ago. But actually the truth is my brother kicked me out of the league. It was his league. And he said I couldn't play anymore. I'm like, what the hell are you talking about? I can't play anymore. You're kicking our ass. Every year you get to, well, that's why we play. I mean, I'm going to do it again next year. No, you're not playing. We made a decision. You have to get out of the league. What the hell kind of crap is that?
I'll say bite me.
So I just gave it up. I said, okay, that's right. I took all the money. It's a big pot, man. It's like $600-700 every year for the last couple of years. But it's too much. I can imagine fantasy baseball. How does that differ from
You
fantasy?
don't play every day.
Luca,
Yeah,
how
fantasy is every day, and you have to check at least 2 hours before every game to
Sure.
see who's playing, who's not. There's a lot of movement involved, like trades and things
right,
like
I
that.
would think there's a whole lot more movement in fantasy
It's
baseball.
a lot because you have the roster's bigger.
The one thing I do so I have a stats spreadsheet that John knows about for
Yes, I
UMass Lowell baseball. I do just for my own, just for fun. I do keep track of the Otnu fantasy points, which are like a stats based, like a sabermetrics based fantasy point system. Because I'm a nerd. Yeah, I if you ever want to like switch up your point system, that would be something I'd look into if you want to go even more stats.
By the way, public service announcement. Actually PSA, but not a public service announcement, a personal service announcement I'm going to make. I want to thank the Boston Celtics. Had a feeling before game 2. My brother and my cousin, they live on FanDuel or whatever the hell it is, these betting sites, right?
Yeah.
Constantly every week, they send me text messages and I tell them, shut up. I'm not betting, so stop sending me these damn things. My brother tells me an hour before game 2 against Boston, put $50 on Miami. You're going to win $400. I was like, I told you. He calls me up. He said, I want you to listen to, I said something. He said, I want you to be quiet, listen to me. I said, okay, fine, what? Don't ask any more questions. For $50, Miami's winning tonight. I said, bro, they're getting their ass kicked. What are you talking about? He said, I'm not going to say it again. Bye. Click. I said, listen, this boy needs to shut up. 19 minutes before game time, a little voice in my head said, okay, I'm going to do it. But damn it, he's going to pay me my $50 back when I lose. I mentioned it because the money just dropped into my account. Yeah. Miami picked the right night to go crazy on threes. I appreciate that. I really do. I just lent my son $300. I made a $100 profit.
There you
All right, go. Though the series.
One other guy that needs to get it going is Corbin Carroll. Last year we talked about like this guy should be like an MVP vote getter because the importance that he represents for Arizona Diamondbacks. He's not hitting shit, and he's showing because he's kind of the engine of that offense, and whenever he's not hitting, the Diamondbacks are just going to be scrambling for runs, and they got good pitching, but you can't do nothing if you're not hitting.
Yeah, he seems to be having problems.
Wow.
Just making solid contact with the baseball. I mean, it's like, yeah, he's another one. Yeah, he's another
Yeah,
one.
he's hitting
He's such a
189.
Well,
He's such a good hitter.
the
Yeah.
Diamondbacks do have a lot to live up to based on what they did last year, especially in that postseason. I wonder if, unfortunately, they've started to read the headlines and start to think that they're really as good as they threw themselves out there to be last October. And it's awfully difficult to back up something that an unexpected run like that was for them. It's hard to back that up, and I think they're having issues with trying to establish themselves as one of those teams.
Good point, John. Good point.
Was it a fluke?
Right.
Yeah, probably.
Probably.
The
Right.
Diamondbacks? The Diamondbacks?
Last year, was it a fluke? Yeah, probably.
Yeah, I think that's a bit.
No, they're good. They're a good team,
No,
man.
they're good.
They're
I
good.
think that it was a fluke.
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
if
They're
you
even
run
better
that,
this year.
I think if you run that season back 1,000 times,
They
I don't think they make
No.
the World Series. I think they make the World Series one time, and that was it.
Right. I agree with that. I agree.
Yeah, that was one hell of a. Yeah,
That
you're
was
right.
a magic dice roll.
Yeah,
Yeah.
one of the
Royal
perfect,
flush.
perfect storm. Well, I have to be careful about doing that.
You're running sevens. Yeah, I agree. Yes. Yeah.
I think one goal for every major league team is make it to the postseason. I think
Sure.
once you're in there,
Yes.
anything can happen.
True.
What we saw with the Diamondbacks, Brandon Pfaadt got hot at the right time, and he carried them all the way to the World Series. They didn't win it, but you got guys like that contributing and being nasty. It's
Right.
anything can happen in baseball. That's the beauty of it.
No, it's true. You're not wrong. I just don't think that if you went into a simulator or went into a time machine and run that back 1,000 times, I don't think they
Good,
make the World
good
Series.
thing baseball is playing the field.
Exactly.
Yes. Play in the field.
Yeah. Okay. So we get away from here. We stay with baseball, but we get to one of John's topics this evening. Good one too, because I don't know. We enjoy sports, and sports is there's so much emphasis in sports on the big market teams. So much emphasis all the time. So it's like for us as human beings, as sports fans, it's like it's supposed to be big market teams all the time. Like playoffs. That's a bunch of crap. It's a bunch of crap. You're a sport. You're a fan. And of course, we're talking about TV networks. I'm not talking about TV because they don't want. But John, the Cincinnati Reds, they're off to their best start in 2017. John wants to ask us, are we buyers? John, are you buying the Reds?
I don't know yet. I mean, it's a team that did rather well during their losing stretch of drafting pretty solid players that they have. Some of them they've developed through the system rather well. Others have been kind of a miss, and they haven't necessarily done it. There have been some trades that they've made as well that's allowed them to build up their minor league system. It's a division that I think for the moment is a bit uneven based on the Cardinals having their struggles, the Pirates being hit or miss. The Brewers are still pretty good, and the Cubs are also a team that's having their issues. So I'm not necessarily sure that I'm buying this, but I do think that the Cincinnati Reds are going to create some issues for the rest of that division because you're going to have to go through them to eventually either make the playoffs or not make the playoffs. And so I think they become a rather key element to however this division eventually shapes itself up to be. But I'm not necessarily buying them, but I think for the time being, I can see why somebody would.
Louis, you buying Cincinnati, Louis? I know you like the cap.
No, I'm not buying it. I mean, they start out well in some years, but then within 3 to 4 weeks, they just tank right out of the bottom. I mean, okay, they're up to a good start, but remember, it's not how you start, it's how you finish. And I think by Memorial Day, they're going to be about 5 games below 500. So I'm not buying this at all. Sorry.
That's a bold statement there.
Yeah, it was.
Alejandro?
I particularly like the Reds. I like David Bell. I like David Bell running the show there. I think they're too young, and then there's a couple of key injuries there and a suspension. Not an injury, not suspension. Just no Elvis Marte got suspended, and Matt McClain, which is kind of a spark plug for that team. I think the pitching is still developing. Lodolo, Ashcraft. I mean, they added this guy that got hurt. He played for the Yankees last year, Montas, and he got hurt. The bullpen is a thing that is just doesn't blow my mind. But if they could somehow hold into maybe July and just kind of take it easy until those guys get back, like the McLeans and Noel Marte, and I don't know, maybe add some pieces in the deadline. They might be good, but it's a young team, and they still on that growing process, and they don't have. I think for them, kind of was the key to bring back Joey Boto, and they didn't. And that is something that you don't have. You have a whole bunch of young kids with no leaders that could come back and bite you in the ass. But who knows, man? I don't.
We're gonna find out, Luca.
Yes.
So you up in Cincinnati,
Joey
Luca.
Votto wasn't necessarily a bad one because of how much money it was going to cost them to bring him back. And Votto was a guy that unfortunately was he's at the back end of his career. He's had injury issues. He spent probably too much time on the injured list. And I think for the Cincinnati Reds to get rid of that contract and use that money in other areas may, in the long run, end up to be a good thing.
I'm kind of buying it a little bit. I'm not totally sold yet because their current best hitter, while I think he's absolutely electric, Elly De La Cruz,
Yes.
is hitting their best hitter is hitting 281. That's not ideal.
One thing that concerns me about Ellie is the contact. He doesn't make enough contact. I think he's a guy that has like 4.5 good tools. But if he could put it together, go to work in the off season with like a Tati Senior or like one of those hitting gurus and kind of tame his whiff, he could be something special.
I mean, I just kind of look at the fact that the guy could be 10-10, have 10 home runs and it's what now probably close to 20 stolen bases.
Oh, he's
by the end of April. I mean, obviously you need to hit 3 in the next 2 games to do it, but I mean,
To be done.
this is the kind of player you're looking at. Is a player that would be able to be 10-10 by the end of the opening month, which is it's just absurd. I mean, that's the main thing that I'm looking at in the Reds is just, hey, look at this unicorn. But I mean, I think the Reds are are they going to be fantastic? Probably not. Are they going to be maybe contending? It's a possibility.
I'm buying what I'm seeing. So far. Because, again, so far. But my thing is, with when you have such a young team and you're trying to play against the likes of the Cubs and the Brewers in the same division that have been through this. Listen, if there's 2 teams in the NL Central that are now used to this grind, to get to the postseason, it's the Cubs and the Brewers. They're there. They know they're going to be there playing for the division one way or another. I don't know if Cincinnati's built to be ready for that. Even if they continue to play good baseball.
You forgot the daddies of the Central.
That's true. You forgot the Cardinals.
Well, I didn't forget them. But
they said
no. Wait a minute. I'm saving them. Hold on, Papi. Hold on. In America, they say patience is a virtue. So here. So
Correct.
I look at the Reds, and again, I like what I see, John. But my thing is, can they compete in the long run for the whole season against the Brewers and the Cubs? I don't think so. The Pirates have shown there in the Central that, they've shown little flashes here and there, but they're the Pirates. Things have been so rough for Pittsburgh for so long. We're used to it. And now I'll finish the Central, Alejandro, by saying this. But let's remember that while all the shuffle and the hustle and the bustle goes on in the National League Central, don't ever fall asleep on the St. Louis Cardinals.
That's in 2023.
St. Louis. No. Yeah, I'm just saying. The Cardinals are the type of team that when I look at the standings in the Central, and I'm doing that now, and I see the Cubs and Brewers 17-10, Reds 15-13, Pirates 14-15, Cardinals 13-15. The St. Louis Cardinals are one of those teams in Major League Baseball that when I see them in last place, I don't worry about them being in last place. You're not accustomed to seeing it, so I don't think. So just watch them. Just watch them. But going back to the Reds, John, yeah, I like what I see. I just don't see the team being able to maintain it throughout the year, at least to compete against the Cubs and the Brewers.
I think the problem with the Reds would be when they finally hit that losing stretch, lose 4 out of 6, 6 out of 8, something like that. Then what happens?
How do they respond?
Or do they regroup and get it back together again?
Good point. How do they respond? Yeah, and that's when you find out about your youth. Look at Baltimore. Baltimore has built. They're a young team.
No, but Baltimore also have a lot of veterans.
Right, but they were prepared. Those youngsters are prepared and they're ready. It isn't like it is in Cincinnati.
Cincinnati is a team that kind of reminds me a lot of Baltimore Orioles, except for that, like the pitching is a little different.
No, Luca, no.
I see no similarities between.
No similarities? Ooh,
no, I see
a lot of similarities.
I see the Orioles as arguably having the deepest farm system ever assembled.
Oh, definitely.
And then setting them up for success for the next decade and a half. I see in Cincinnati a team that is filled with some guys in the back half of their career and a lot of young guys, and there's no real core. It's going to be a lot of guys who are going to immediately jump out to a bigger market. We're going to immediately, i.e. Ellie De La Cruz, once his service time is up. But I don't see many similarities between Baltimore and Cincinnati. I could be dead wrong.
Wait. Before we respond, I got to go back to something Luca said. Boy, that was powerful. Luca, repeat that again. The Baltimore Orioles farm system, what?
Have the greatest farm system ever assembled.
That John, those are some strong damn words, John.
But again, their business model that they created to put that farm system together is really a model that every team should look into and try to find ways to put into their own theories and their own models. And I think the Cincinnati Reds have attempted to do that with some of the drafting that they've done in recent years. I don't think they've taken the whole model and put it into their own system, but I do think they've taken pieces of that theory and have tried to put it into their own setup.
I'm going to come to you, Alejandro. Before I do, hold on, Alejandro, because I know you got something. Louis.
Oh, yeah.
First of all, Louis, I don't know if you got the memo, but the Baltimore Orioles, they don't suck. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. They're not the same team they were a decade ago. Now they're just, they're showing, they can compete in the AL East. They don't suck anymore.
They can compete anywhere.
I don't think I've ever heard anybody. I probably have, but I don't remember hearing someone say they have. Say it again, Luca. The what?
The greatest farm system ever assembled. May I just take you through? Let me just a minute. Let me take you through the Norfolk Tides.
Yeah.
Colby Mayo, 324 batting average, a OPS of 994. Connor Norby, an OPS of 865. Heston Kjerstad, 1176.
Wow.
In AAA.
Sign this kid up.
and they're not even playing. They're not even playing that great right now.
This is the AAA team is sitting there with a gold mine of players. Cincinnati doesn't have that. No one has that.
And John, you talk about, and it's true.
You're muted, Alejandro.
It really hits me, John, because you're right. You talk about following the model. Teams want to follow the model. First of all, this is a model that I would say it's new. Yes, it's new in the sense what I mean, John, is teams have tried this. The idea in baseball is to build through the draft. That's it. You build through the draft. Yes, you make your trades, but you build through the draft. But this model that Baltimore had set, it seems unprecedented. Actually, I go to you, Alejandro. How the hell are the teams supposed to follow this? How are they supposed to duplicate this?
Yeah.
Alejandro.
Who, me? I thought you were asking John.
I forgot. It's your
turn. What the Baltimore Orioles have done, I mean, is something really crazy. I mean, I haven't seen anything like this.
I haven't either.
Michael Elias and like we talk about like how he revamped the whole thing and how he added people to the baseball operations side of the Baltimore Orioles, but you could add as many guys if you want. If they don't know what they're doing, it's just not gonna work. And apparently they knew what they were doing, and they added the pieces that to build up that farm system. Now they having a problem because what are you gonna do with all those guys? That's in Norfolk. Like you have to move them.
John,
you either replenish the lower levels, or you.
This is why you have to be careful, and this is why the Jackson Holliday mistake, to some extent, does come back and bite this team a little bit, because you brought a kid up that was probably not ready to play at the major league level, and certainly his slash line would demonstrate that he was not ready. At 0.59 average, 111, 170, those are numbers that do deserve to get sent back to the minor leagues, and that's exactly what happened to him. But because he was here for as long as he was, there's now going to be some service time that's been lost, and it's those kind of mistakes that unfortunately down the road can come back to hurt the Orioles when it comes to not only salary arbitration, but eventually the free agent aspect of this, when all of these guys get that opportunity eventually. So while the Orioles have all of this talent that they've got to make decisions about, at the same time, they're going to have to be smart with all the decisions that they're going to have to make with each individual player.
Something important to note when it comes to Holliday, he did not pass the amount of time that would be necessary, where it would be impossible for him to have less than a year. So he will have less than a year of service time at the end of the season. No matter.
And I think the Orioles will make sure of that by keeping him at the AAA level for the rest of the year.
It was really sad because as soon as they made the move, I mean, we know the talent that he has and what he's going to become. But when they made the move, I'm like, why? You didn't even need to do this. This is a team that is completely stacked. You had no reason to do this to the kid.
They should have brought Corner Norby. Actually,
right. I feel for the kid because this is what he has to look back on as his start, and it's not his fault. He wasn't ready.
No. I mean, I said before the show, and I said in one of my posts, I think the upper levels of the minor league system, like AAA, AA, you get to see a lot of off speed. You get to see a lot of breaking stuff. You got veteran pitchers that trying to make the major league team somehow. They've been in there forever, and they crafty. Whenever if you haven't seen that in a long stretch, you're not going to handle major leagues. You can't. You have to go through it, and you have to spend some time on AAA and get to know like breaking and off speed stuff. I mean, no matter how much technology you have, you're not facing a computer. You're facing a pitcher that's trying to outsmart you, and if you don't know how to hit a off speed, you don't know how to hit a curveball, you are in trouble. You can't make your bread and butter be the fastball. You have to be unorthodox and hit other things too.
And it's something, John, because it goes to show. I always say when I talk football, I always say, so the kids play high school football on Friday. The question now for that kid is, as he moves to the next level, can he play on Saturday? The question for that kid now, as he moves to the next level, can he play on Sunday? They get to find out the speed of the game, the power of the players. In baseball, of course, it's a whole different ball game because you just don't go from high school to college. You got to go through such a different path to get there. And it's so much to learn. And for me, it was just, the kid had such a great high school collegiate career, but you put him in a position you never, like you just said, it cost him service time too. They put him in a position, John, they never had to put him in the first place.
No, they didn't have to put him in that position, and unfortunately, because they did put him in the position, he got exposed. And unfortunately, when a young player, even a good young player like a Jackson Holliday, gets exposed at the major league level the way he did, it does become a bit of a problem that has to be solved. And I do think that by sending him back to AAA and letting him play every day and learning at that level, that eventually things that did get exposed at the major league level will be able to be fixed. And I do think that eventually is what happens. But the idea of bringing him back at any point this year for any reason is a silly idea. Just leave him alone, leave him at AAA, let him learn how to become a professional baseball player, and then consider the idea next year.
Let's also remember, John, he grew up in
That's right, he did, absolutely.
And he seems like the right mentality. He seems like the right family values. I mean, they have outside his apartment, Matt Holliday built a whole baseball facility. So
this is why the Orioles gave him the shot, is because they figured that based on where he came from, the dad and so forth, that he could handle any early struggle that he got into, but he couldn't.
Yeah.
Now, here's the thing how this plays good for him, because you think about this, there are kids that have been put in Matt Holliday's position right now, and their careers are ruined.
Yeah, that's happened. Yeah, sure.
You start out like this, they bring you up too early. You're a big time prospect. You come to the majors and you fall flat on your face. But going to what, and Alejandro, you've mentioned it several times on several shows. But to Matt Holliday, for Matt Holliday Jr., for him at least, this has been his entire life. His whole life. Every breath that this kid has taken, every step this kid has taken has been on a baseball field, about baseball, for baseball. So
he's been in major league clubhouses too, and he understands how those things operate.
Exactly, I was going to say that.
He's dealt with mature individuals that have helped him along at a very early age. All of that stuff doesn't go away just because he had a rough start.
Also, remember, Matt Holliday's brother is a coach in college baseball.
College,
yeah.
It is.
The kid has in Oklahoma. He has a backyard. It's a baseball field, right in the Lao. So he'll figure it out. He'll figure it out, definitely.
Yeah,
and also, I think he's gotten his cup of coffee out of the way.
Yeah,
I do think that that's part of it. I think it's kind of just, even if you have grown up on a baseball field your entire life, it's still, there's a level of, holy crap, this is a major league stadium. It feels different.
Well, he grew up in
clubhouse is different.
But growing up
when
in
you
one
put on that uniform,
or the pre-teenager is a hell of a lot different than growing up in one playing.
Yeah,
exactly. That when you put on that uniform and it doesn't say the
Bat Boy, for instance,
Norfolk Tides,
and
it says Baltimore on it, it's a different vibe. You suddenly are like, okay, the lights are, even though they're all major league standard now, they're still brighter. The stadium's bigger. There are more people. They're cheering louder. It's just different. And now I think that one thing that can benefit from that is say, hey, this is what it is. Okay, we're all set. Here you go. Now you know what it is. Here's your second opportunity whenever that comes. You already know what it's like. Don't screw up.
Yeah, my point was, I mean, he's a little different than other kids.
Yeah.
Yeah, no,
that's
Yeah.
yeah.
Nobody's denying
and,
that.
and he should be. By the way, boys. Welcome to the Field of Dreams.
Nice.
On In the Batter's Box, the NGSC Sports Weekly Baseball Show. I don't know why. Something happened and you guys made me think of Field of Dreams. I said, while they're talking, let me get to the AI generator and let's see what it gives me. Hey, look at this beautiful field.
Stop stealing from artists.
Yeah.
That's all this does.
Hey, it's a free, cheap generator. You know,
That's
I make
I'll
donations.
explain
I
later.
make donations. I donate, Luca. Is that okay?
I'll explain later. It's fine.
Another kid that kind of was big headline this week was Jordan Walker being demoted.
Yes.
I think, I don't know. My thoughts on that is the Jordan Walker. I mean, if you come to think of it, the kid has all the potential in the world. He's a kid that when you see him, you see, flawless mechanics. You see everything, but he's not being used properly by the St. Louis Cardinals, because when you have an impact back like that, you're supposed to protect them. You don't put them 8 with a guy that's hitting 100 behind, because the kid is 20 years old. He's going to get into bad funks, and then he's not going to come out unless you have protection. Another thing that I noticed with him, ever since St. Louis brought him up last year, they were trying to change his mechanic all the time. Oh, to elevate the ball, this and that. Leave the freaking kid alone. Let him play, because he went back to he went to Memphis last year. He came back and kind of didn't do any of the stuff that St. Louis was asking, and he raked. They got to let him play. They got to let him be himself. Stops making a lot of changes. The kid is a good hitter. Let him be. And
it's bad when you do that. Right. It's bad when you do that, because I want to as a player, I want to build a rhythm. I want to build a routine.
This year, spring training, Ralph, they were separating his legs a little bit, right? So he went through all the spring training with the separated legs. At the end of spring training, they switch it back to what he was before. You keep switching the kid style, and you're just going to screw him up.
So what was the point of doing it in the first place then?
I mean, the point of separating the leg is to level up like the eye side, like the eye level.
Right. Then why switch him
understandable.
back? Leave him alone, like you said. Leave it.
But like a week before they take off from Florida, they went back to the like the stand that's like more straight, and I'm like, come on. And on top of that, you don't protect the kid.
Man.
It's unbelievable.
All right, gentlemen, we have reached that point where I asked Mr. Lewis to know more. Louis.
Oh, weren't we going to talk about the?
Wait.
No. Yeah, we got.
We missed something. Let me go get it. Let me go get it. Hold. I don't know what happened to it. I had it right here.
College ball.
Thank you, Luca. Luca. I don't care. I don't care what they say about you, Luca. You're the man.
Yes.
Let me fix this up right here.
Anything interesting in NCAA? I haven't.
John's
John's
got something going on here. I'm gonna turn to the ranking, but John wants to take a look at Maryland Eastern Shore. John?
We always talk every week about the good programs in college baseball, and there are plenty of them. Whether it be top 25, any of the other polls that are out there, we always talk about the good programs. But there are programs that unfortunately do struggle, and in some cases struggle rather mightily. And Maryland Eastern Shore happens to be one of those programs that is really having a very difficult time. It's a team that last year went 18-37 and lost their last 2 games of the season. You got to keep the last 2 games of the season in mind here. At the end of that season a year ago, their coach and coaching staff was dismissed from this team, and the brand new staff was brought on board. But by the time they were brought on board, recruiting and even getting players through the transfer portal became a very difficult thing for them to do. And so consequently, they ended up with the leftovers, whatever they could find. And it has really not necessarily worked out for this team. They just finished a 3-game series with Wagner on the road in which they lost all 3 games. And because of that, their record at the moment stands at 0 wins and 38 losses. Now, it's actually 40 consecutive losses based on the last 2 games that they lost a year ago. The NCAA record for losing games in a season is 53. It's happened twice. The 2007 Chicago State team did it, and the 2012 Coppin State team did it. Now, this team's not going to lose that many games this year because they only have 10 games left in the regular season. The worst they can do is 0-48. But nevertheless, it does demonstrate that everything that happens at college baseball is not always good. In some cases, it's really bad. And unfortunately, in this case, the Maryland Eastern Shore is a prime example of what can happen when things, unfortunately, go south and go south in a hurry.
I got another one. For you, John. Did we talk Dallas Baptist out of the top 25?
Yeah, we did, but that's a much better program than this is.
One thing, I mean, Maryland Eastern Shore could sell a lot of merchandise now that,
Well, it's kind of hard to sell merchandise when you're not putting people in the ballpark.
But just marking it, like a market.
Market the offer. Market the offer.
Yeah,
that's really going to go over.
You got to make the best out of the worst.
I'm just saying.
I understand that it's a joke, and honestly, would I buy that T-shirt? Absolutely.
Yes.
But at the same time,
yes.
If
I got a jersey for Louis. I got a jersey for John.
I'm on that team.
Wow.
If I'm Joe Kelly, no relation, who's a person on Maryland Eastern Shore.
That's right. Yes.
And I have an 0-5 record, and I have an 11.41 ERA. You think I'm really going to be? Obviously, I basically can't go in the transfer portal anymore. I can't go anywhere anymore.
You can't go anywhere.
However,
No.
am I going to be real thrilled with my athletic department saying to me, "Oh yeah, here's a shirt mocking you. Go fuck yourself." Pardon my language. No.
Hey,
No.
wait. You know, Louis, I just thought of this.
Yeah.
Do you know, Louis, that if for some reason, some crazy reason, the Yankees went 0-38 on a stretch, do you know that I haven't thrown a party in my house? The last party at my house, I'm going to tell you, Louis, seriously, the last party thrown at my house was my wife's 40th birthday party 25 years ago.
And you got new patio furniture.
Right.
I got room over here. Louis, if the Yankees went 0-38, just a stretch of, oh my God, it would be like a strip club in this house, man. I would be, holy.
It would resemble the 62 Mets.
It would be, what a celebration. I just had to bring that up. I just thought about it. Look John was talking.
Look,
but it's bad, John. It's bad.
Look, it is, and it's also based on the fact that Maryland Eastern Shore is one of those programs that's a non-revenue baseball.
Yeah.
And so
they really moved
they had this weekend for the 3 games against Wagner were no more than 20. So they're not putting any people in the seats, obviously, because this isn't that bad. They do have one very good player who happens to be a kid by the name of Branson Taylor, who's hitting over 400 for this team, and he's been behind the plate. He's played first base. He's even got some right-handed pitching for this team. He's tried to do whatever he can to help this team at least win a game before the season is over. And as Lucas said, if there's anybody that's going to win the transfer portal when the season is over, that would be the kid. There's no one on this pitching staff that's got an earned run average of under 6. They've got a team batting average of 227, and their team earned run average is over 11. I mean, this team has really just gone through everything that you could possibly go through that's bad in a particular season, and it's you do wonder what the administration of this school may consider when this season is over, if they want to continue this program or not.
Imagine how hard it has to be to sit
Yeah.
in an 0-38 dugout. That's got to be just like 24-hour day is like 48 hours in one day. It's like so long, and you feel for these kids because they keep playing. They keep playing.
That is the thing. I do give these kids credit for the fact that they have hung in there. They've gone to practice. They've played the games. This does seem to be a fairly tight-knit group that is not willing to give up on at least the goal of winning a game. And I would have to think that that's the goal of this team, is to win a game. Their next game is against Stonehill. That's their midweek game this week.
What do you
More
think the
power.
chances are?
They're sticking around, and they're not giving up on either themselves or each other. And there's something to be said for that, despite what they're going through.
It's a testament to the coaching staff, because there'd be a bunch of kids ready to just bail out. Why in the hell am I doing this, Louis?
That's kind of what happened. Just
Go
before
ahead,
we go there,
Luca.
that's kind of what's going on with. At UMass Lowell, our men's lacrosse team is historically bad, and what you're saying, the opposite of what happened at Maryland Eastern Shore. That's exactly what happened. They said half the team said, you know what, forget this. I don't even want to play lacrosse anymore. I'm not even going in the transfer portal. I'm just retiring. I'm quitting.
Wow.
Because they, and I know I've met multiple kids from that team last year that went, I want to say 0-14, and they're 0-11 or 12 at this point, who just said, you know what, forget this. I don't even want to bother with this.
You don't. Yeah.
And there have been multiple like D3 teams who have put out like videos saying, oh yeah, we could beat UMass Lowell. We could beat UMass Lowell. And it's like, imagine how demoralizing that is. And I think there's a little bit more respect between college baseball teams to an extent of, we all play a ridiculous number of games. This is a weird thing and we're all really in it.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think anyone would do that, but it's got to just be absolutely
It's
like,
got to
what
be.
the hell are we
It's
doing?
Yeah.
Why are we still here?
Yeah.
Wow.
You have to be there wondering why. Why am I doing this? Why are we doing this? How could we be 0-14, 0-11, 0-12 the following season? You got to be asking, what the hell are we doing?
Right.
Why?
I mean, that's a sad statement, for any team, whether it be college, little league, whatever. I mean, to go 0-30, it's a sad statement for that program. You wonder how they're going to survive.
Louis, final thoughts.
Well, I think I just gave it because, I've seen some bad programs in my day, but this takes the cake. I mean, how do you think if they keep this up, are they going to be able to survive this program? Is they going to be interested in saving this program? The fans got to come out. I mean, yuck.
I think the interesting thing about this program is, how do you recruit players? How do you get players to come in and try and
by telling them the truth? By telling them the truth. We suck so bad, you're going to make us a winner.
John, before we go off the air, any clear cuts for number one in the draft pick?
Oh, I think the kid from Florida, Joe
Caglione,
is definitely establishing himself as, I think, the clear number one pick when the draft comes, and with his ability with the bat and of course his ability to pitch. Again, he wants to be a two-way player when he gets to the major league level, and I think that's going to be a very interesting debate with whoever ends up drafting him. I believe the Guardians have the first pick in the draft.
Yes, they do.
And if that's the way they go, I think that becomes a very interesting conversation between him and the team as to what path he takes to try and get to the major league level, because clearly his bat is good enough to get there. I thought he was a decent enough first baseman, and I still think that his ability to pitch as a left-handed pitcher would also be something that would be enticing and very interesting to any team that ends up drafting him. This kid's got leverage at the moment. He's got lots of it. And the question is, how does he use it when he eventually gets picked?
Shohei, can you see again?
Yeah.
Maybe.
Luca, final thoughts.
Sucks to be the Rockies, and if you are a Rockies coach, maybe don't go into the cockpit of the charter plane.
Did you
And
see the
have
video? Did you see the
take a
YouTube video? Did you see that video?
Like, guys, the FAA is gonna be on your ass immediately. The FAA doesn't mess around. Don't do that. That's stupid. And I get it. It's the
Stupid.
Rockies, but that just makes it even funnier. Like, if it were the Yankees, it wouldn't. It would be like, oh, they can't do that. But it's the Rockies. It's just hilarious, and it's sad.
Here's the difference. If that had been the Yankees,
Comic tragedy.
Henry Mullins would have been fired before that plane even landed. That's the difference.
If only it was the Yankees. If only it was the Yankees.
But I saw the video on YouTube, and it really is a rather stupid video, but nevertheless, it certainly caught the attention of the FAA and other people, and consequently, the Rockies are under federal investigation for why he was in that cockpit in the first place.
I do think the pilots were like they were cleared of that, but I don't know what the.
No, I don't either. I don't know if they.
I would hope they are, because
So would
I don't think that they did anything. I think that they were like, okay, whatever, and didn't expect him to start messing with the yoke.
Right.
And then when that happened, and the very passive aggressive seatbelt sign turn on was very fun.
Alejandro.
I'm kind of excited the next couple of days to see hitters reaching 150 at bats. It's not happening immediately. I'm saying this is probably going to happen within a week or two, and that's kind of the determined factor for hitters. There's a lot of hitters that they having down stars, like really, really scary stuff. Judge, including Julio Rodriguez. I mean, those guys are not hitting too well. I think once they approach the 150 AB plateau, I think you kind of will determine the type of season that they will have, and I'm looking forward to that.
John, final thoughts.
The little things, right?
Yeah, it's always the little things, isn't it?
Yeah.
Look, there's a new number one in college baseball, Texas A&M now in the RPI, and at the top of the polls. And again, the SEC is certainly demonstrating that they are kind of the kings of college baseball at the moment, and the ACC is right there with them. I think as we get to the final 3 weeks of the college baseball season before the conference tournaments begin, you're going to start to see these polls, these projection fields come out, and it's going to be very interesting to see how those two conferences dominate the field of 64 as we get closer to it, the eventual unveiling of that Memorial Day Monday. But look, a lot of these one-bid leagues are really starting to play a lot more intense and serious baseball, because they know that one bid is really all they're going to get. And it's leading to some, I think, some very interesting and I think good baseball as you begin the first 3 weeks of May.
My final thoughts go to hands, to jerseys, to this problem that I wasn't even aware of till I checked it out this morning. Major League Baseball is going to be addressing this uniform fiasco.
Finally,
after changes this spring to the jerseys led to a lot of complaints from players and fans. They're saying that the lettering, for example, the large letters we're used to seeing on the nameplates have gotten so small, mismatched gray tops and bottoms. The jersey propensity to collect sweat, and also that some of the
You run
pants,
faster with small letters, man.
Yes.
some of the pants have been see-through.
Ooh, women.
Ow!
They
I
trying to
don't-
attract the audience.
I don't know now. Major League Baseball, a spokesman for Major League Baseball, said something. Nike took over the uniform deal with Major League Baseball in 2019, a 10-year, $1 billion deal. Great, Nike apparels, but Nike decided at the 2023 All-Star game that they would get innovative, and it looks like their innovation has gone it's a little bit too innovative. Uh, so a lot of complaints there. So I thought that was kind of a cute thing because I said, "What? See through?"
Yes.
I'm sure a lot of the
If it
ladies.
rains, so if it's a humid day,
I'm sure a lot of the ladies.
you're gonna see all the thoughts of a player.
A lot of the ladies and a lot of the men too are enjoying the sideshow. But
They're
I
wearing, if you've read Dune, they're just wearing Fremen still suits. If you've seen or watched Dune, it's the same thing.
Right.
Oh boy, great show, gentlemen. Thank you everybody for joining us this evening. This is In the Batters Box, the NGSC Sports weekly baseball show. Don't forget the website, of course. It is ngscsports.com, where you catch all of your current content. I didn't get to say it earlier, John. Big series win for UMass Lowell on a 3-game set with UMBC.
Yes, it was a big comeback today. They found themselves in a 3-0 hole as they got to the 8th inning. Jaden Sertel was pitching very well for Maryland Baltimore County. Unfortunately, he got a no decision based on the fact that his bullpen couldn't hold that 3-0 lead. Lowell came back with 5 runs in the bottom of the 8th to pick up that series. A very important series for them to get as they look forward to making that trip to Albany next weekend for another rather important series with an Albany team that swept NJIT out of nowhere this weekend and has really created a bit of a logjam when it comes to second place to 6th place at the moment. Some big dealings there. Boston College had the chance to play at Fenway Park on Thursday night and got a big win over Virginia in the ALS game, which is always a rather significant game for them, but based on Pete Frates and what he meant to that school and to that baseball program and going through ALS himself. So that was obviously a nice weekend. Mike Glavin at Northeastern picked up his 300th career win with the Huskies this weekend, and he's done a very good job with what I think is the best team in New England, and that is the Northeastern Huskies.
All right, all that and more, of course, on NGSCsports.com, where we never stop. I'm planning to see you guys Thursday with or without my co-hosts. A lot going on in Washington, a lot going on
In New
in
York.
Israel and the Gaza Strip, a lot going on waiting for the decision from the Supreme Court on immunity for Donald Trump. Of course, we are waiting for the Stormy to show up in New York, along with Michael Cohen, and how that continues to drag on, and all that. And more. See you guys Thursday. We'll see you guys next week here. Thanks for joining us. You guys have a great night.
Good night.